Today is December 28th. Today's quote is entitled, "A Slave of Love." Love makes one a slave, either love of oneself, Maya, the opposite sex, Guru, or Krishna. Make your choice who you want to be a slave of, but being a slave is unavoidable. So on the morning walk, Prabhupada was talking about being controlled. And he said something interesting. He said, even the pure devotee is controlled. It's just that he's controlled by Krishna's superior energy. So just like we're controlled by the modes of nature, depending on our consciousness, depending on our action, we're going to be influenced by ignorance, passion, or goodness. And so those modes will control us. We have choice, but it's kind of like, not kind of like, it is, we're making choices and then we're coming under the influence of different modes. But a pure devotee comes under the influence of Krishna's internal potency, not his external potency. So he's controlled by Krishna's love, Krishna's affection, Krishna's blissful potency, Krishna's knowledge potency, Krishna's eternity potency. And so that's all enhancing his relationship with Krishna. So everybody's controlled. It's just a question of choosing what we're going to be controlled by or what we want to be controlled by. So yes, when we become pure devotees, we're going to be controlled. So in a similar way, everyone's a slave. We're a slave of the modes of nature, or we're a slave of Krishna's Sarup Shakti, his internal potency. But that internal potency is Radharani. And that internal potency, when we become a slave of that potency, it draws us to Krishna. So we actually want to be a slave of that potency. So it's not that we're ever going to get out of slavery. So don't think like that. Slavery is always going to be there, but it's just a question of who we want to be a slave of. Now, we think we're free, right? What am I free to do? I'm free to smoke cigarettes. So I become a slave of cigarettes. Or I'm free to eat this. I've become a slave of eating that. Or I'm free to do whatever. But actually, we become addicted to these things. We cannot not do them. Someone says, oh, I'm free. So if you're free, then you should be able to stop doing something. But we find usually we're controlled by the things we're attracted to. So we're a slave of someone or something. Now we fall in love with another person, and definitely we become a slave of love of that person. We would rather be slaves of Krishna, slaves of prema. Yeah, that's what we want. So we're going to be a slave. That's a fact. So now, don't let this word slave scare you, because by constitution, as Jiva Shakti, you're going to be a slave of something. You're marginal. You're going to be a slave of internal or external potency. You're not going to get away from that. So when we say slave of Krishna, you go, oh no, I have to surrender, be a slave. Yeah. So if you don't surrender to Krishna, you'll have to surrender to Maya. But Maya is so subtle and expert, she makes you think you're not surrendered to her. So you think you're free. Yes, one person said, you're free to pay your taxes by credit, check, or bank deposit. That much freedom you have. So Maya makes us think we're free. Oh yeah, you're totally free. You can pay your taxes this way or that way. But you have to pay your taxes. So you're not really free. You just think you have freedom because you can pay in a certain way. So Maya's like that. And so we think, no, I don't want to surrender to Krishna. I won't be free. Like as if I'm free now. And as Srila Prabhupada used to say, yeah, what is your freedom? Can you stop death? Can you stop old age? Can you stop disease? So it's just an illusion that we're free, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, you can do some things. You have little independence, but you can't stop death. So if you can't stop death, you're not that free. And if I surrender to Krishna and I transcend death, I'm way more freer than I was, or freer than non-devotees, because now, as Bhagavatam says, the devotee steps on the head of death and goes back to Krishna. So so you become a slave of Krishna, you actually become free. You become a slave of Maya, you think you're free, but you're not.